This is Marlena Garcia with Fun with Food, and today I am with our special guest, Keyla. Hi, Keyla.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and we have a lot to do today, right?
We do.
And I wanted to get the questions out of the way. People are probably asking what is going on. So let's get to it, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to get into the fact that connecting pieces. Can you tell me where that came from?
Yes. So Connecting Pieces is a nonprofit. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we provide support for people with gastrointestinal disorders like myself. I have Crohn's disease. I've had Crohn's disease for 11 years now, and I have a 14-year-old with the same condition as well. And so through having the condition, being a patient, having access, seeing things firsthand, I saw the lack and the need for it, and so the nonprofit was born through that.
Yes, and with the lack and the strain that you saw within your community, why did you think this was so important?
Well, being a patient firsthand, like I said, I see the need, I see the lack of access, I see the gap in care, I see the gap in access to good health, to devices like the device that I need. I see the need everywhere, and so I wanted to do something that was going to not only benefit me and my family, but benefit so many in the community.
And who would that be impacting?
Everyone, anyone that has a gastrointestinal disorder, anyone that is suffering from colorectal cancer, anyone that is has any food allergies, anyone that has a family member that's impacted by it as well, all are welcome.
Yes, that is so empowering. I can even hear it in your voice, the passion that you have to serve your community. And like, have you shared and united people together through Connecting Pieces?
Not yet, sort of. So prior to becoming a nonprofit, I did put on a fashion show charity event last year, which was super successful.
And we will talk about more about that. Yeah. Stay tuned. Okay.
So it was to help fund research for people with IBD. It was very successful, and through that, it helped me find the strength, the courage to want to start the nonprofit, and so we will be putting one on next year as well.
Yes, and more so for the people that don't know what IBD is, can you explain that?
Yes, so IBD is a condition that impacts your intestinal tract, so it's just your intestines. People think their stomach is part of it. It can impact that as well, right. But basically what it is it's your body attacking itself. It's an autoimmune disease, so basically your body sees certain cells in it and it thinks that they're foreign and it wants to attack itself. And so it causes inflammation, it causes ulcers, and some other symptoms that I have will be like nausea, vomiting, weight loss, constant running to the bathroom. When I was very, very sick, I was going to the bathroom about 25 times a day, losing lots of blood, very, very thin, very sick, in and out of the emergency room constantly. And so the biologics, these medications that science has thankfully been able to come up with, help us combat that, and it helps our body trick it into not attacking itself.
And who do we have to shout out to the people that have supported you and been through with you through this journey?
Well, you guys, like performers here, giving me this platform to showcase my journey and what I'm doing, the amazing chefs that are here today. The community has been such a big help, just the IBD community itself. I would not be here speaking, sharing my story, or have the courage if I hadn't found my people that understand me and this journey.
So what are we doing today?
We're gonna cook some delicious food, and it's gonna go in my belly, and I'm just so
we have phenomenal chefs today, and Keyla's gonna be one of our taste testers, and I am so. But however, this is for a bigger cause, so thank you.
Connecting Pieces is dedicated to serving as a beacon of support and resources for individuals and families impacted by gastrointestinal disorders, ostomies, and associated challenges. Their mission extends beyond providing education and support. They actively address health disparities by accepting donations of ostomy supplies, ensuring accessibility for those facing barriers. Additionally, they are committed to hosting retreats tailored for families affected by GI conditions, offering a sanctuary for support and access to vital resources. At Connecting Pieces, they prioritize mental health and holistic well-being, striving to empower every individual to navigate their journey with resilience and hope. To learn more, please visit their website at www.connectingpcs.org.
And we are back with Fun with Food, and today, who's sitting to my left is Victoria Fabo.
Hey girl.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. And tell me, you are a registered dietitian.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell me more?
Okay. In order to become a registered dietitian, you actually have to, I did it a different way. I went and got my baking pastry degree first, and then I realized, okay, maybe I should help a little bit better to people. So I got my bachelor's in culinary nutrition from Johnson & Wales, and then I went and got my master's in public health and took the didactic program and became a registered dietitian.
And where did this spark?
So my grandparents had many comorbidities, and that's why, baking I had a passion with my grandmother to do, and cooking with my parents. They had their own restaurant. But I said, okay, let me help people, we want to eat food, we want to nourish our bodies, so let me help teach people how to do that.
And that's what we're doing today.
I'm excited for that, yes.
I hope you're excited. I'm excited. We are all excited, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be back. Here we are in the TV studio, ready to cook and hot and ready. So, Victoria, tell me, what are we making today?
Today, we're going to make a few items for Kayla, and we're thinking geared towards her, how she can eat and how to keep it nutritious as well.
Yes.
So first, we're going to start with breakfast.
Breakfast. We love breakfast.
Right?
What do you say about that, Kayla?
I'm excited.
Yes, we are here for that. Thank you.
So, keeping it nice and easy, we have some almond milk, peanut butter, yogurt. And then for some nutrients as well, nice and blended, we have some avocado, a healthy monounsaturated fat, banana, and then what I've been trying to do with my smoothies and most of my fruits lately is cook them. Because I don't necessarily want them always cold. So let's get started and I'll show you what I did, okay?
I'm excited. I'll be sitting right here for you.
Okay. Well, you guys will taste test too, so that's be the best part.
Ooh.
So for almond milk or any smoothie I do in the morning, I actually plan it ahead, guys. Because I have work in the morning, you have your kids running around, whatnot. So I actually will put these all in a blender, blend them up, put them in my Cambro or whatever, my bottle to go, put them in the freezer. The night before I pop them out and they're ready to go. So save yourself some time.
Yummy, my mouth is watering.
So we have some yogurt, good probiotics. I have, this one is 5% milk fat. You can get whole fat, skim milk, whatever you enjoy.
I am lactose intolerant, so what do you recommend?
So they actually have a lot of lactose intolerant ones.
Okay.
And Lactace might be the brand that you might want to use. And some people think the taste might be a little different, but in hindsight, once you put everything together, it tastes great.
Right.
So anyway, any of it's great.
What do you put in your smoothies, Kayla?
All kinds of stuff now. Anyone can substitute with whatever milk, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yogurt works for them, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Something to be mindful of is what I like to tell people too is if you look at the back of the nutrition label box, right? Almond milk technically only has 1 gram of protein. You would think with almond milk it would have more.
Right.
Cow's milk is about 8 grams of protein, but this is 1 gram of protein. So just trying to be mindful of that. The positive is that we're adding the yogurt, so that's good protein, and we're adding peanut butter. My obsession.
Yeah.
Obsession.
You need those.
Yeah.
So, okay, per your flavor, preference, a lot of people will be like, Victoria, that's so much peanut butter. And I say, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Add it in.
Additive.
Right?
It might not look pretty in the blender yet, but it will taste yummy soon. Okay, so those ingredients are done. All right. Okay, so with this raspberry, it's a raspberry compote, and a compote is anything that's cooked on the stove, and you could strain the seeds out to make it a little bit easier on digestion, but the nice part is when you're cooking it, the digestion part is being processed. So we can add a little bit, get some berries in. And some people might be worried, if it's cooked, it's losing some nutrients.
And what do you recommend? How long do you want it to cook for?
Until you have time.
Okay. Time is key. I believe that.
Right?
Right.
So really, as long as you have, if you want to cook it for 5 to 10 minutes, some people will add water, so make sure that it doesn't burn on the stove.
Right.
But sometimes I won't even add that. I don't add sugar. It's sweet enough. Right? Try that out. Add a little avocado.
And you use a half avocado.
Yeah, you can use a half. If you're making like a big bulk, you can add both of them in if you'd like. And I let them sit on my counter for a week. I don't know about you guys and what you guys might do.
I do let them ripe up. So
Yeah.
the week is standard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited for this?
I'm so excited.
Yummy.
The fact that she made raspberries for me, I'm just beyond ecstatic about this.
Now this banana might look a little funny, but bananas in my house may not last always, so I put them in the freezer. So they get a little blackened. But with that said,
More nutrients.
I thawed it
Vitamins.
out.
Yes.
So again, may not look the prettiest, but it tastes really yummy.
Can I
believe
just
you.
add to that too? Like, I noticed when I use bananas that are green or more yellow, they actually do irritate me a bit more. So I like that you said that you wait till they're ripe and you freeze them too. You
freeze
said,
them
and
too,
I
yeah.
actually do that as well. So that's a good idea and suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, definitely. And the sugars though slowly break down, so that might be helping with your digestion too.
We are ready to blend.
We are. Got all my ingredients? We're good. Okay, I will scrape down the sides at this point. I don't when I first start because I know it's gonna look like this. So just be a little easy coming off with the lid. It will spill. Okay, it smells like breakfast, so I'm happy.
It's about that time.
Because how much time do you really have in the morning to get ready? Really depends on the day.
You know what? If it's a rush day, they're out.
Yeah.
No time.
Don't mind me. Just going again. Okay, perfect. And you can have it as thick as you want. So if this isn't thick enough for you, you can add more yogurt, or if you want it more thin, add more milk.
Very smooth,
Yeah.
healthy looking.
Oh, I'm excited.
Everything blended up together very well.
Cheers.
Now this
Cheers.
is a real test, Victoria.
We're gonna do it together.
Enjoy your smoothies,
cheers.
please. Gotta love breakfast.
We need the SMR, the AMSR.
I did bring napkins.
Thank you.
This is so good.
So all I can say the first try, I can taste that peanut butter. I'm a peanut butter girl.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm a fan with that. So if no one likes peanut butter, what do you opt out with? Like opt in?
Well, if not, you can use an almond butter if you want, or another nut butter if you'd like. And some people, for protein-wise, some people do the protein powders.
Okay.
So if people enjoy that, they can do that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank
We
you,
are going to
guys.
come back. Victoria's going to do another segment. Okay, so stay tuned. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Marlena Garcia again for Performer TV. Do you know what they say about Wednesdays? It's a great day to make adjustments and improve the rest of your week. Maybe today's Daily Dose can help motivate you. Authorities said singer Justin Timberlake was arrested Tuesday and is accused of driving while intoxicated on New York's Long Island. Timberlake was arraigned in Sag Harbor on the eastern end of Long Island, according to a statement from the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. Timberlake's representatives did not immediately return requests for comment from the Associated Press. Sag Harbor is a coastal village in the Hamptons, around 100 miles from New York City. In the summer, it is a hotspot for wealthy visitors. A young Timberlake was a Disney Mouseketeer, where his castmates included future girlfriend Britney Spears. He rose to fame in the popular boy band NSYNC and embarked on a solo recording career in 2002. As an actor, Timberlake has won acclaim in movies including The Social Network and Friends with Benefits. He has won 10 Grammy Awards and 4 Primetime Emmy Awards. Last year, Timberlake was in the headlines when Spears released her memoir, The Woman in Me. Several chapters are devoted to their relationship, including deeply personal details about a pregnancy, abortion, and painful breakup. Timberlake has 2 upcoming shows in Chicago on Friday and Saturday, then is scheduled for New York's Madison Square Garden next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. In the run-up to the Paris Olympics, Louis Vuitton celebrated the beauty of humans and their skin in a star-studded menswear showcase at the headquarters of the UN Cultural Agency in Paris. Models wearing garb in all the hues of human flesh paraded around a giant globe on grass pattern in Vuitton's signature damier check, creating a visual symphony of diversity. It was an homage to human beings, said menswear designer Pharrell Williams, who name-checked the Summer Olympics for a show that felt like a journey across continents against a backdrop of the Eiffel Tower and a giant shell globe. The spectacular collection prominently featured checks in shades of green, blue, and black, drawing inspiration from the designs of Air Afrique luggage. This airline, which operated from the 1960s and for decades, has become a symbol of diasporic creativity, according to Vuitton. Set against a dramatic sky, with shifting clouds and fluttering world flags, the collection's progression of colors mirrored the diversity of the models, moving from darker to lighter tones. This gave way to a more integrated mix, symbolizing multicultural harmony. This theme extended to the garments, which included pixelated python skin patterns and world maps centered on Africa. A reinterpretation of the damier pattern featured pale brown checks with multicolored accents.
Are you good now? I hope so. I'll see you again tomorrow right here for your daily dose. This is Marlena Garica for Performer TV. Well, we are back with Fabulous Foods with Victoria Fabo. And how are we doing?
Lovely. I'm excited.
Are you marinating it?
It smells like we are.
I believe you. So what are we doing today? We're doing another food, okay?
Yes. So we did breakfast. Now we're doing a little appetizer.
Yes.
We're going to do a little bruschetta.
Bruschetta. Ooh.
Bruschetta.
Are you excited, Kayla?
Yes, I am.
Yes, we are excited. Whenever you are ready, Victoria.
Okay. So I got some lovely sourdough bread from Les Saisons in Cambridge Bakery, and going again with cooking, making sure that the food is hot and yummy, ready to go. So I made a tomato chutney. So what I did is I cut the tomatoes, I sliced them, put them in the pot, removed the seeds and the skin, let it cook, and then it got nice and thick and like a little chunky sauce, which is cool. And then we made some fresh pesto. So what I'm gonna do, I have basil in here, garlic, and olive oil. I'm gonna just add some lemon juice just to give it some citrus and some fun flavors.
Yummy, I love lemon juice.
So we're gonna do that. Turn up the temperature. Okay, this bread is so pretty. So when
Only a chef would say that.
I love bread, that's
Right?
the meaning of
Only a
life.
chef would say that.
So let's go ahead and give it a cut. So you're trying to think like you have people over, what kind of size do I want to make for them? So you could do like different sizes. Some people may say, Victoria, you're about to cut right in the middle of this bread. It might not be the way that some may do it, but that's okay, because I want to show you the inside. Okay, and how you cut the bread is up to you, depending on what knife you may have available. Sometimes I even just like to use my little knife and just finish cutting, because at least I know the job will get done.
We always have so many knives in the kitchen, and it's so hard to pick which one. So I'm glad you used two.
Yeah, do what you want. Pause, because look at that, it failed. That's happening, y'all.
I know it's going in my belly, so it don't gotta look pretty. I know, that's right.
Okay, so here we are. All right, so bread, love it. Gotta love the inside. How not so porporous, perhaps it is. It's nice and dense, which is great for the bruschetta because we want to absorb it.
Yes.
All right, just gonna give that a little mix. Compote's looking nice. Okay.
Now, how do we know if the bread is dense?
How
Like,
do-
is it due to like the holes or on it, or
Yeah,
how did you know?
So some people will make it like more airy. So like here you can see more like holes. So that could just be the way that when they're shaping it, when they're dragging it across the table, it could be from overproofing or not. So it just could vary.
And do you make your own bread?
I have in my past life. Recently, not so frequent, I will say.
And do you choose to do that more so to use like local
Yes,
bakeries?
definitely. I have a lot of great friends. Les Saisons is an awesome French bakery with Persian as well.
Right. We love local businesses.
Yeah.
We got to support them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because bread takes like 7-8 hours to do. These guys are up at like 3 a.m. Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to work at a Subway.
Oh, you did? Yes.
Well, we can't compare, you know, but definitely the bread took some time, and we would wake up at least at like 7 in the morning, and it would be done before we opened. So, yeah, definitely took some time.
Now, these are a little bit big, so we could just make them smaller. So when I was at Johnson & Wales, we had my mentor, Chef Stam. He helped us create Operation Peace, Love, and Bread. Was the name of our club.
Peace, Love, and Bread.
Peace, Love, and Bread. And we taught other students to hone their baking skills, and we created about 3,000 loaves of bread a month, and we donated them to local food pantries. So I love bread. Like I said, I used to do it a lot more. So again, helping out other people.
Right.
That's great.
Amazing.
So now, based on your bruschetta and how you may like it, I'm just going to turn these guys off. You might want the pesto down first, the tomato. You might want to do whatever presentation you like the best.
Which smells amazing.
Smells good,
right?
right?
Kayla?
Yes.
It's already in my belly.
Now, in this pesto, what
Yes.
have you like mixed in here? I know you said you added the lemon juice. Is
Yes.
this all fresh?
Yeah.
How did we get to this?
Good question. Thank you for asking. So I got a whole bushel of the basil plant, and I just took the leaves. Actually, I put them in a food processor with the garlic. I peeled the garlic, put the garlic in whole, added olive oil, and let it go. Some people will add pine nuts, but I always think of allergens, so I never really do anymore. A lot of people might add papita seeds or pumpkin seeds so that they still get that nice crunch if you want.
Yummy.
And some people even add like Parmesan cheese or whatnot. But I try to think of other allergens, dairy allergen, nut allergen, so I don't add anything. So I just keep it nice and simple.
And now, did you cook it till it became soft, pretty much? Or just until it kind of all marinated together?
I gave it about like 5 minutes. I just wanted the garlic to get a little translucent, not completely. And then the basil, you don't want to technically cook too much because it is fresh. You could if you want, no harm, no foul. It's just what you might want to do. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like digestion. Sometimes I know for me, I have to kind of like cook things really down for me to process them better. So it's good to know it's okay. No harm done if I'm cooking, overcooking.
Oh yeah, no. I will say I cooked this like last night to prepare for like over 5 minutes, and now today it's been cooking for at least another 10. So that's a good amount of time to cook the garlic and get it out. But yeah, no harm.
Thank you for mentioning that, Kayla, because
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would want to know how long do you want to keep it down or melted, right, per
Yeah.
se. Great.
Good point. So we're gonna put some.
This looks so and it's not even on there yet.
Now I gotta say, I'm still sipping on my smoothie here.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's okay if pesto can get everywhere. Sometimes that happens in the kitchen. Okay.
And the kitchen is supposed to be messy, so please don't wear white when you're in the kitchen.
No, not for me. And, you know, some people might do like sliced tomatoes, but I thought for here, it would still be really great and taste yummy.
Now, roughly how many tomatoes do you think did you use
Yeah.
to sort of make the amount that you were making today?
Right, so I probably got less than a quart of chutney, and I probably did like 4 or 5. But I cut and took all the seeds out, and I took the skin off too. So really just the pulp that was left aside.
Yes.
And
You're really spoiling me by taking the skin off. Like, that's such a huge thing. Something as simple as a skin, people don't think of it, and those little things do irritate me as well. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, Kayla, can you emphasize more on the skin and how that irritates you?
So Victoria, you might be able to help me a little bit more, but I'm sure it's probably due to the fiber, and it's hard for me to sort of break things down, including the seeds as well. And with having an ostomy, it doesn't get broken down or processed, and so it would cause me to possibly have a blockage if I did have too many seeds and skin.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you. Yeah, soluble and insoluble fiber. So with the skin of it, it's not so easily to be digested. So perfectly said. With that note, perhaps I won't garnish yours with lemon peel skin then. But for pop of color, you could actually probably candy some lemon zest, which would mean just letting it go on the stove. Add some sugar perhaps if you want for funness, or just saute the lemon peel and top it on. You could do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me grab a little plate, just a moment, so I can serve it to you guys a little cuter. That would be great.
And you mentioned this is what time of the day that you would eat this?
This is an appetizer. If your friends come over and you're just, you know, having a girls' night or something, you get the prosciutto ready, and then while the prosciutto is out and your friends are enjoying it, you can be sauteing what's next or cooking whatever that you have going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want the smaller one. I'm telling you now.
The small one.
I want the smaller one. I know I'll eat the big one, that's why.
No worries.
Thank you so much. I'll wait for you too, Marlena. We're gonna do this together.
You got it. Yeah, put some lemon on the upper.
Yeah, just a little zest. There you go, my dears. I wish I had a...
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
It's juicy, it's in your mouth. You think of my Italian nonna making this back in Italy. And that's kind of what I thought of when I was making this. And the dough, I love the smell of fresh dough.
I can already say the dough is very soft, the pesto. You can taste the lemon right off the pesto, and then the tomato. Girl, you have some magic hands.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Thank you.
It tastes like so fresh and just, it's like a party in my mouth. I don't know what else to say, but
Call the girls over.
Definitely the girls would want to enjoy this, right? Sorry for my...
No, take your time, savor it, right? So think of the different sensories that we have in our tongue. I like to tell people, right? And I always say, I'm the world's slowest eater. We have our sweet sweet part in our tongue that we hit first, and then the back is our sour point. So roll it around in your tongue, and then you can enjoy.
Yes.
Savor.
And before we cut to break, I know we have another dish to make. So please be ready for that. Thank you. Victoria, we have breakfast and appetizer. Now we are making something else. But we cannot forget why we are all here, right? We're connecting pieces. So Keyla, what do you think so far? I want to know your thoughts.
this is amazing. Like, Victoria, you are teaching me so many things, and I'm learning so much, and I feel like we're just learning from each other, right?
Yes, I think so, yeah. Well, this is awesome. It's been great to really tailor onto a specific disease state. And as a dietitian in long-term care settings primarily, I don't get to do this disease state too much. So I'm normally like cardiovascular disease, diabetes. So this was really awesome to learn to, you know, cook down your fruits, cook down your vegetables, and they still taste super yummy.
Yes.
You know, so that's the important part we want to highlight too, and adding different spices. We have cardamom that we're going to be adding next, ginger, cumin, so let's do it.
Now, what type of party are we messing with now?
So now we're going to have a light delicacy soup.
Okay.
So we're going to make a golden beet ginger soup. When we want to add as much vegetables as we want, or as we can, would be great. So I also am adding parsnips and rhubarb.
Okay.
Okay. So what I went ahead already and pre-cooked the onion, garlic, shallots. Do you guys ever cook with shallots?
Never heard of shallots.
They're my new favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like a sweet onion.
Sweet onion.
Yeah, and they're great. I add them really to everything now.
Okay. And where can you find shallots?
They're right next to the onion and garlic at the supermarket. They're a little, instead of like a yellow onion, white onion, red onion, it's like a beige or tan.
Beige.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see here, we have our soup warming up. You might be able to see it there.
Right, looks so good, yellow.
Good, yellow.
Reminds me of the summer.
Well, hold on just a second. Thank God we are in the summer season almost, right? Yes. And that's what I wanted to think of it too. A lot of people might think, oh, summer we might not want soup, but we can make it still with our root vegetables and make it yummy. And today was kind of rainy, so we kind of need a soup.
And I know when I'm in the house and it's raining outside, a nice soup does go well.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Yes,
Do you agree?
With that bread.
Right?
Yeah. Love to bring it back out.
We cannot forget about the bread. Everyone was smacking lips in here. I don't know what to do.
They say, Zon, get to your local bakery.
Right.
As soon as you can. Okay, so this onion, garlic, shallots, honest to goodness, I will always let these cook for as long as I can. Like people always say, oh, like just like 5 minutes. You really want them to come out of their shell in a way. So I'll let them cook honestly for like 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
I might put the lid on top. And when you put the lid on top and you put it on a lower setting, it's actually called sweating. So you want to sweat the vegetables or the garlic, onion, shallots, and ginger, and that really gets the flavor out. So again, let it go, stir it occasionally, but this is where you can do, in the meantime, cut your vegetables up. Because it's cooking for so long, you have enough time to be preparing everything else.
Right, and is that what we already did here?
Yeah, so we had that cooking. So what I also will do too is then I will add, you can use a bigger pot as well. So parsnips and beets, I peeled the beets and the parsnips, got rid of the skin, and then they don't have any, the fun part, parsnips have seeds inside of them. So what I want to, I lied, we're gonna go back. So the beets and the parsnips I peeled, okay? And they don't have any seeds, which is great. I just cut them up any size that you want. This is the best part, is you can have the kids come in and start cutting up things for you. If you're in the meantime busy doing something else or whatnot, this gets them in the kitchen. And kids need to be involved with food.
Right.
They're about to eat it, so they need to learn how to cook it.
So this would be a perfect time for families to come in, talk about, you know, different things, how to cook different vegetables, right? I'm guessing, teaching the little ones about healthy eating, right?
Just talk about your day, right? And fun point you said, healthy eating. A new thing I'm trying to think of, or trying to think of more of, is that food is not healthy or not healthy. Food is food. It's to nourish us, right? Anything that we might eat otherwise, like say packaged or whatnot, that's then processed. We would just call that junk food. So food is not healthy or not, it's food, right? So how we're preparing to enjoy it is a different stuff.
Okay.
Fun thought I think of.
That is a fun fact, with the fun with food, right? So fun with food, fun fact, that's exactly what we're here. And then with connecting pieces, we're tying in, right, filling it in, right?
Says the mug.
Yes.
All right, so I would go ahead, these parsnips and beets, I would let them cook significantly a lot longer to soften them up. When you're softening them up this way without the water, you're giving them a more flavor. So it's kind of like, almost like if we're roasting something in the oven, we're getting some flavors out. We can do the same thing here on the stove. So what I would do is I would mix this around, right? Making sure that all the sides are coated around.
Yes.
So you might think the onion and garlic, this color might be a little different because it might be looking a little funny, but it also has the ginger added too. So funny, if you have the ginger in the fridge, it actually turns blue. It gets very acidic. So it's really funny that it does that. So don't be too frightened when you are cooking and see that. Saute that up. So,
and when did you start to notice that? Since we're talking about colors and food, when did you start to notice when you're in the kitchen and you put stuff in the refrigerator overnight or a week per se? Because sometimes food can be in the refrigerator up to a week.
Right.
When did you start to notice?
Yeah, kind of like the banana. When I see that it's going brown or the inside's going brown, same with the ginger. I put it in 1 week just because I was going away and I was like, oh, it'll stay fresh that way. I came back, started using it. I'm like, it's blue. Why?
Right.
But it was okay. I used Mr. Google, Mrs. Google. Google said it was fine. I said, oh, great.
Did it taste well?
Yeah, it tasted fine.
Okay, as long as it tasted great.
I thought that too. But you know, when you let it sit back on the counter, the blue kind of went away.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? The properties.
Like
what is it? Oxidation. Let's give this again.
Yeah.
Oxidation.
Oxidation. We're also a cooking class and a spelling bee.
Yes.
Great.
Well, I have a speech impediment, so this is great. Don't worry.
Yes.
That's connecting the pieces.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Great spin.
Let that cook. If you have a higher pot, it's great. I actually have, okay, rhubarb only comes out in June, right? It doesn't come out too often. So when I have it, I freeze it and I thaw it and I add it to soup, okay? So it might give us a little color here. But when I made it, it didn't give me any color. I just,
And when you made this, who did you get inspired by?
Miss Kayla! I was stoked.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soup is a soup and a stew. You just cook it for as long as you can. So it's perfect.
Right.
Now I have a couple questions.
Please.
So you said there's ginger in there.
Mm-hmm.
Is this fresh ginger
Yes.
or ground ginger?
Good question. Fresh. But you know what? Ground and using a powder, use what you have. You know, but then again, you might have to say, oh, I might have to use more fresh or more dry than fresh sometimes, because when you're drying it out and it's cooking, the longer it's cooking in the process, the flavor comes out more.
Now, do you think it'll still taste good? I guess we could go with that one if we don't have ginger or if we don't have rhubarb.
Definitely, you don't need the rhubarb at all. Here, we can go ahead and add some water and we'll watch that cook a little bit more. And if it doesn't have the ginger, that's fine. So what I would do is I would zest the lemon. So I have zested and lemon. You can zest the lemon if you want, but also you can just put the lemon in and let the lemon with the water absorb all the nutrients from the skin and the pulp inside, and then we'll take out the lemon. So you don't necessarily want to keep the lemon in long, just enough for when it boils, comes down, it's great.
I personally drink lemon water.
Yeah.
So I'll sometimes put the lemon slice in my water. And yes, you may taste the lemon, right? But it's so good for you.
Oh, it's so awesome for you.
Right?
There's terpenes, right? So this is like a limon. That's a terpene. And so you breathe that in and then you're awake, right? So it's nice when you have it in your water or when it's in your soup. So we're getting flavors different ways too.
Right.
And it's great. And then what I do for most soups is I add bay leaves in. Some people might only add one bay leaf, might add a couple. You know what? Go big, go home, right? So let that stew in. And then cumin, some people may say, oh, I have to measure it out exactly, but that's really great. I appreciate those people. I just go ahead and sprinkle.
Yes, a true chef doesn't measure.
No.
It's by the eye.
Yeah, you know, what my grandmother used to do is like, oh, my hand. Her hand was different than my hand, right? So any grandmother, nonna, they would say the same. I put cardamom on already. I put in the pieces whole. You can do ground cardamom if you want. And cardamom is from India, the Middle East. And you can make it savory, you can make it sweet, and you can also drink it like a tea, which is so great. So cardamom is very versatile, which is awesome. We're gonna let this boil and just cook for like an hour, right? Vegetable soups, the nice part is it only has to cook really for an hour once everything's cooked, starting to boil, because there's no meat, so you don't necessarily need the temperature. This temperature will get to, of course, well over 165, so it'll be fine. We'll blend it in a blender, or I have this fun device I like to use. It's an immersion blender, and you just put it in the pot and watch it go.
Victoria, I have more questions.
Please.
Now, so you know, we have busy moms, dads, whoever, we have busy lives, all of us.
Yeah.
Can we still make this soup in, let's say, a slow cooker or a pressure cooker?
Yeah,
A
definitely.
crock pot if people have one.
Yeah, and a crock pot, you just want it on high. Some people put on low for a while. I would just put it on high to make sure that those root vegetables are actually getting cooked well. Though, a friend of mine just told me recently that she actually got a cast iron, cast iron lid in a pot.
Right.
Yeah, pot with the lid on it. And she put it in the oven. I was like, oh, I need one of those.
It's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
It probably cuts the time.
Well, it cuts the time, but you don't have to watch it.
Right.
You just put it in, go do your laundry, go shower, which is always what I say when I'm cooking. If I can put something in the oven and go do other activities, great.
I'd rather use the oven than the microwave. That's just personally what I would do.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when this is all done and ready to go, you use your machine. And can you mention the machine one more time? What is that called?
So the immersion blender.
Immersion blender.
Yep, so there's a little blade inside.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just really quick and easy, nice and easy. You do want to put it, if you can, flush to the pot, just to first initially get it to go.
Right.
If you lift it or tilt it a little bit or angle it in a way, it's actually creating more air bubbles in. And you just want to make sure it doesn't pop in your face in case something's hot, right?
Right.
So just to be mindful of that. But it's a nice, easier tool to use because you can just keep it in the pot, twist this off, and then go wash it, right? Instead of the blender and the blade
And I'm
whatnot.
sure that's dishwasher friendly.
It's a 2-second hand wash. I would
Okay.
just do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Not me. I might throw it in the dishwasher. That's okay.
That's fine. Yeah,
Right?
that's totally. Read the packaging. This one, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's
No
a good
worries.
question. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies, can I just show you the soup now? Should we
Of
say
course.
that? Okay.
Yeah, so when you cook it for an hour, you blend it up, and then we have our finished product.
Yes.
Wonderful. Look how yellow and bright that looks. Like even with the finished product with all the vegetables inside, and then we have our final soup.
Yeah.
How wonderful is that?
Thank you. Yeah. And you can smell it. You can actually smell the beets, which is really nice. I love that part.
So I want to make sure I'm on the right page.
Tell me.
This is our final product.
This is our
Where
final product.
All of our goodies over
Yes.
there
Yeah.
are just blended now. What would you say we could do if we don't have an immersion? Is that what it's called?
Immersion blender.
Immersion blender.
Yep, then you can just use a regular blender like we did for the smoothies. And you can put that in. Or you can use a food processor.
Okay.
Whatever you have around. And if not, it's still great that way too. Now it's kind of a stew in a way. Yeah.
Right. I enjoy stews.
Yeah.
And I like to, I'm a texture person. So when I have big chunks in my mouth, I like to, I can taste the marinated ingredients, spices inside the vegetables, right?
Definitely.
I'm excited. Are you excited? Absolutely. I am ready.
Get this going. Yeah, and if you want to strain it something too, and which is really great too, not that we might need to worry about this here, but if you have a baby, it's kind of really great because then you get all their vegetables in at the same time.
Yes, I also have a nephew coming on the way, so I know
Oh, yeah.
I will definitely, and my sister-in-law, she's all about healthy food lifestyle, so she's gonna love this.
Yes. But
Yes, the chef always has to clean his dishes before he gives it to his,
The presentation.
right?
right, here you
Ooh,
are.
thank
You're
you.
welcome. Here you go. You're welcome.
So, Miss Kayla, are you ready?
On 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Smells so good.
1, 2, 3. God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What are your first thoughts, Kayla?
I can taste. Okay. If I'm like blind tasting, the bay leaves,
The Baileys. Okay.
the ginger, the lemon. I can kind of taste the rhubarb, but it's like such a hint that it's like so tasty. I'm almost just like, but it's so good. And usually I'm not a fan of like purees, sort of, but this is good. Like the texture is perfect, and I know that it's not going to give me any gut issues, which makes me just want to chug it. So.
You see me over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I got nothing to say. This was amazing.
Glad.
Victoria,
this is so good.
we are going to come back soon, and you're also going to make
Now the entree.
the entree. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Well, I'm ready to get to it. We did our breakfast, our appetizer. Can you remind me what was the other one?
Soup.
Girl, we did too many things today. And I want to catch up on Kayla about that soup. What do you think about the soup, Kayla?
That soup was amazing. I still have all the delicious flavors in my mouth.
Yes, and I can resonate with that. So fun with food, connecting, and Victoria Favo's in the house. I'm ready to get to it. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Let's do that. Okay, so I'm doing today for entree a summer vegetable quinoa. But I wanted to let other people know that this recipe can be done with different grains, right? Just to spice it up. At my house, we're normally a pasta people. We're Italian. We're always eating pasta. I also have here some long rice that you could use too for this recipe if you wanted to. So I like to just showcase people different grains they can use because a lot of people might not know.
Yes, great demonstration, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. So this is tricolor quinoa. Here I have red quinoa just ready to go. Then we have some barley. So barley is wheat too. So if you are gluten or have any gluten allergies, this we don't want to use because it has wheat components. This is red berry wheat. So again, more wheat, so just be mindful of that. The quinoa has the most protein here today, and then with lentils too also have protein. So again, change it up how you see fit. And this is nice, you can have your vegetables ready to go, but you can add any spices if you want. So today we're going to be using Clara's Caribbean. Today we're going to be using Clara's Gourmet Sofritos. Okay, so we're going to make it really spicy and really yummy.
Yes.
So on the stove already, I have some zucchini. I have it, just watch out for the steam anytime you're taking off the lid, right? That facial's great.
Right.
All right, so I have some oil water in here. I just have it at a high temperature to cook the zucchini quick. I'm also adding some beans in here right away.
What type of beans are those?
Yes, great. So these are garbanzo beans, also can be called chickpeas too. Yeah, just for added protein in the dish.
Yes.
At my house, we've been doing like 3 different kinds of bean dishes throughout the dinner time because we've just been trying to limit meat a bit. Especially with food prices too, a lot of people might want to be thinking about how they can incorporate more beans into their diet. This is actually canned beans. So something I like to just remind people is you really need to rinse those beans out or soak them. So for these beans, I rinsed them 3 times last night in cold water, and then I let them soak in cold water overnight.
Yes.
Drain them, added more water again today.
And great point for pointing that out because not for nothing, you want to rinse your vegetables, rinse and like you just said, your beans.
Yes.
And you would never guess that because it's already in a can. So we want to trust the can, right?
Yes.
But we always have to wash our foods.
Definitely. And anybody with hypertension or cardiovascular diseases, we really need to be mindful of the nutrition facts on the back of a container because sometimes the beans, sodium might be like 750 milligrams.
Right.
And for me, I try to be conservative on sodium intake. So I'll say like 1,800 milligrams per day.
Right.
So any snack, if you divide it by 6, you want at least 300 milligrams or less in your choice, right? So to rinse out any sodium out of the beans is great. Okay.
Yes.
So those are cooking. The beans cook as long as you may want. So what I did too, with the soup, the ginger, garlic, shallots, onions, I did those with some mushrooms.
Yummy.
Let those saute. So the nice thing is you can chop them all up at the same time, put the onions in the food processor or whatnot, cook them, and save them for the next meal you want to do. Less time.
And mushrooms are great like that.
Mushrooms, yeah, mushrooms have vitamin D. They're really the most vegetable that have vitamin D. And I don't know about you guys, but I get the winter blues. So I try to add mushrooms into anything. The fun part I like to do too is when I do make meatloaf, I actually put the mushrooms in the food processor to make them almost like a puree, add them to my meatloaf, and no kids will realize it, but they're getting mushrooms. Yeah.
Don't tell your kids, everyone.
No. So that's really good for added digestion too. So we just cook them. So again, cook for them for as long as you can is great. So I'm gonna pop the lid off just slightly and just let that cook.
Now I'm gonna ask you the same question I've always asked.
Yes.
Is it okay to like cook them down? And
Yes.
down and
More flavor, right? So if they're getting, when they're getting nice and brown, that's really great. So cook them as long as you want. The more the merrier. So we'll go ahead and add the peppers in too now.
We have a bunch of colors going on. I'm excited. This rainbow.
Yeah, keep it interesting. The summer's here. So red, green, and orange peppers.
Yummy. And if people don't like the peppers, what would you say to opt the peppers out? What would you add instead of the peppers?
Yeah, you could do carrots or celery if you want it
Carrots,
to.
celery.
Geesh, what else would you want? You could even do squash. I love squash.
Yes.
Squash comes up anytime. Actually, the green peppers are habanero peppers. So habanero peppers, just make it a little spicy.
Yummy.
So anyways, there's that.
Yes. We tried the smoothie, Kayla. We had the appetizer. Yes, and now we're off to the finale. I am so excited. Thank you so much, Victoria. I just gotta say, like, I didn't want to say it after, but we gotta say it during. You are fabulous as you are, right? Because it matches your name, it matches with your brand. So we gotta mention that.
Very sweet.
And when it comes to this dish, how long do you want to cook it for?
This dish you can cook for up to 40 minutes if you want.
Okay.
If you'd like to cook it a little longer, no worries. At least 10 minutes. Some people might like the crunch of the vegetable, but here we want to cook it a bit more.
now is steaming them an option at all, or stovetop is fine?
Yeah, stovetop in a way, since we have water in the bottom, it is kind of steaming it at the same time with the lid on, so that's kind of nice. It helps that cooking process a little quicker as well. And I went ahead and cooked the quinoa off. So you can eat this hot or cold, colder, which is nice, right? So if you're just coming in through the day and it's already in the fridge, just put it on a plate. You cook it on the stove again if you want to reheat it. Such is life.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I'm a person that's always on the go and a healthy lifestyle. So when I'm like coming from the gym, coming from work, I don't like to be on the stove for too long, because then you just gotta wait, patiently for it to like cook down. So I'm glad I may use this on my own personally. That way I know if I have it cold or hot, it's universal. Right?
Great, yeah. And same for this and the soup earlier. You can freeze it, right? I need lunches I bring my lunch to work. So I will always make lentils or quinoa or soup, and I'll put it in the freezer and pull it out as I need.
Right.
So I just pull it out like the night before. Same with the smoothie. Just makes my life a little easier.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
For my protein eaters or meat eaters, you could use this as maybe like a side dish as well, with like
Definitely.
pair it with like a big old steak if that's what they want.
Yeah, definitely. Or you can say this is our meatless Monday dish. Yeah, but definitely you can have it as a side dish as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yay. that simmer.
Okay. So I'm gonna add the sofritos at this point. A little goes a long way.
Right.
So, but you can have whoever is enjoying it, if they want to add more, you can have it on the side for them. That's totally cool. Gonna go ahead and add the quinoa. Okay. That's coming together nicely.
Right.
It looks so pretty.
Right? All the colors together.
Yes.
And it looks very healthy. And I know, like, I'm glad that you did mention, I say mention all the time because we have to be universal with people, meat eaters, you know, carnivore, like meat eaters are carnivores, right?
Yeah.
And then we also have vegan, we have pescatarian.
Right.
What else? Am I missing anything? Vegetarian.
Yeah,
So we gotta make sure we're pleasing everybody.
Right? So just mix that all together.
I wish they could smell what we're smelling right now. It smells so good.
Right? I would be jealous if I was watching this.
So by smell test, I'd like to add more sofritos. Are you guys okay with that?
Go girl.
Go ahead. Yes.
Just because we are sharing this with other people and we want to make sure that they're getting a nice flavor.
Yeah, we gotta remind the people that are watching, we also have people in the house today, not only us, okay? So we do have people in the crowd taste testing with us. So we have witnesses.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Okay. I think, guys, we can just say this is all set. Do you want to taste it or do you want to go for the
course.
next one? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm a crunch person. Are you a crunch person, Kayla?
It depends. Like, I love crunchy stuff, but it depends because of me, you know, like processing it.
Right.
But I am a crunchy
You're a crunchy person? I believe you. Yeah.
Oh, so we run out. I was gifted a mug recently and was told about putting soups in it and dishes.
I was just gonna mention that because not a lot of people think like mugs are very useful only for drinking purposes.
Right.
But in this case, we're using the mug.
Yes. No.
Right. We're in a TV studio, so we got to make sure we're using every
Portion
type of-
control.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what I think of. When she gave me that mug, I was like, oh, this will help my portion controls. Because when you get those nice big bowls that you buy at the store, right?
Right.
And then you enjoy all of that. But anyways, you're welcome.
Yeah, and
enjoy.
Not only with this, but also with the soup. You know, that definitely helped too.
Yeah.
With a mug, right?
Definitely.
Are you ready?
Cheers.
I am ready.
The more vegetables, the better.
3. Oh my gosh.
The sofritos. You gotta use
I'm
it.
probably
Enjoyable.
sure they can hear my smacking lip. It's so good. The mushroom, I'm a mushroom fan. My mom got me into it. My grandma's not a mushroom fan, but we're mushroom fans.
Yes.
My mom is always into the kitchen herself. Like, she calls herself Chef Pepina. So we go off of that, and like we have a big chef in the house, and we call him Chef Pepping. So
I love that.
we have a flow going on.
And cooking, and like when you have your kids there in the kitchen, you put on some music, you start dancing. It makes the process just so much more fun, and
Food brings people together. Okay, we can agree with that.
yes.
Thanksgiving, for instance, for an example,
Yes.
it brought everyone together, right?
Yeah.
Stay tuned to the people that we have next. We have Carolyn and Yesenia coming up for the final finale of today's Fun with Food with Connecting Pieces. Please make sure you watch.
Connecting Pieces is dedicated to serving as a beacon of support and resources for individuals and families impacted by gastrointestinal disorders, ostomies, and associated challenges. Their mission extends beyond providing education and support They actively address health disparities by accepting donations of ostomy supplies, ensuring accessibility for those facing barriers. Additionally, they are committed to hosting retreats tailored for families affected by GI conditions, offering a sanctuary for support and access to vital resources. At Connecting Pieces, they prioritize mental health and holistic well-being, striving to empower every individual to navigate their journey with resilience and hope. To learn more, please visit their website at www.connectingpcs.org.
The yummiest food that I just tried by Victoria Falbo, and today we also have a phenomenal chef, right? Kay,
Hello,
how you doing? I want your
so
full
good.
name, so please tell your full name.
Yes, my name is Carolyn Cardenas of Seeds Catering.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
excited.
having me.
Yes, I'm so excited for you to be here. You have no idea what it took
Oh,
to
yes.
bring you out here.
Oh, yes.
I'm so excited. So tell me, are you excited for today?
I am ecstatic. I'm so excited to be shoulder to shoulder with so many amazing, powerful women, so many amazing organizations in the same hub. It's great.
Yes.
It's so great.
And I feel it off of you. I feel the power.
Yeah.
With your product.
Oh,
And
yes.
Can you tell me what we're going to do today?
We are going to make some amazing soup. We've developed this recipe specifically catered to Kayla's diet, Keyla of Connected Pieces, and other people who have similar GI tract issues, diseases, disorders. So it's super exciting. I can't wait for everybody to taste it.
Yes, and I'm excited for you to get in there and start cooking.
Oh yes,
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready for all the heat in the kitchen.
Are you ready? I don't think you're ready.
No, they're not ready. They're not ready.
And today I have here right beside me is Panero's Kitchen, Yesenia, and Seeds Catering, Carolyn, collaborating with Connecting Pieces. Everything that we have on this table is what these two ladies did together. We already started right? We put some avocado oil on there. I'm gonna let you eat celery. What else?
The achote seeds, carrots, onions. Yep.
Celery, basil leaves?
Bay leaves.
Bay leaves.
Yep.
So we definitely want to make sure that they take over and I step back. So you girls, you got that.
Yeah, we're gonna go. So we have a vegetable sancocho here. We've already started it. We have the base of it, like Marley was saying. We're gonna continue with some. What should we do next? I guess we could get the pepper going. The point of the soup is to layer the flavors. So
Yes.
we're gonna start with flavoring the oil with the achote seeds that provides the coloring. A lot of Hispanic households use things like colorante or like yellow seasoning or sazon, which has bioengineered chemicals in it like red 40, which is terrible for your gut health. So we are using a more natural alternative, achote seeds. We've got the bay leaves in there flavoring the oil, and then we've added our mirepoix, which is equal parts celery, carrots, and onion.
Yes, ma'am.
We're just letting that sweat it out in the pot. We added some garlic to add another layer of flavor, and then we're just gonna go in with some green pepper and all these other things that we have here.
Kayla, so now when it comes to sancocho, have you tried sancocho in the past?
I have, and looking at all these amazing ingredients, vegetables, seeds, just everything.
Right?
It's really interesting to see a shift, and you guys sort of accommodate me and my restrictions because I'm so used to having it a traditional Hispanic way.
Which is with meat.
With meat, lots of carbs, lots of oil, you know,
Right.
just like all of those
Corn.
things. Yeah, corn,
Yeah.
something I definitely can't have. And so, Kay, actually, can you explain to everyone the tradition of the sancocho and kind of like
Yes,
where
the
did
background.
it come from, the history? Because I know that you know so much about it.
Yeah, so sancocho is traditionally a dish that's made as a community effort. It's something that people come together to make, and it's usually made in a large portion to feed those in your community, either in your household or your neighbors, your neighborhood, things like that. Some people might contribute some potatoes, some people might contribute some onions, some people might contribute some corn, and everybody's coming together, throwing it in a pot, cooking it on a fogón, which is just something that's born out of survival, I guess you could say. You just take like 3 cinder blocks and you're feeding some wood in, letting that catch fire, and you're throwing a giant pot on top, throwing all these ingredients in, letting them cook down, and then once they're done, they're ready to be shared with the entire community that was watching that food cook. So it's definitely a community effort. We've tweaked some things for you specifically.
And I wanted to mention on that. So when it came to going to basing off Keyla's diet, what did you incorporate instead of the corn, meat, and all the extra
things like that? Yeah, so basically I've subbed out the proteins. Like normally I would use beef bones and smoked ham, different parts of the chicken, maybe some pork meat, whatever it might be. I'm not a big pork fan, but Caribbean people are. And I've used lentils, I've used garbanzo beans, and to add to a thickening agent that normally that bone broth would provide, I've used some nutritional yeast, which is a great sub for anything like that. To give it that meaty flavor, I've used Dominican oregano, which is a more pungent oregano than you would find in the States, and it really adds to the flavor here.
Yes, and Yesenia, as you're cutting those up, I don't want to distract you, girl, but how many years have you been cooking?
So I've been cooking since 2020. I needed a break from cutting, so let me just step back and since 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I just got my culinary degree in February 2000. This year, actually, of this February.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And right now, I'm actually the student, so I'm taking all this in because now I teach children. And now Kay is teaching me how to do a simple dish. Well, for me now it's simple. It used to be a little complex because I'm Puerto Rican. This is something that we eat. Right. So for me to sit back, I'm absorbing and marinating everything she's saying. So it's just really cool to have to listen, to be the student versus me being the teacher. So I really appreciate being here and learning from her today.
Yes, and I wanted to jump off how you and Keyla met.
Yes.
Give us a little backstory on that.
Keyla! So we're actually so I co-own this with my mom.
Right.
And we were actually at a brewery. We rented out the space. We actually started with pastelitos, is another word for empanadas.
Right.
And Keyla actually reached out to me and she asked if I could cater her fashion show. And I was like, sister, so I just think that the connection just sparked from there.
It was organic.
It was already organic. Like, you came up to me, I hugged her, and I was like, that's it, she's my chica for life. So, and we're here today, and I'm really grateful that I could be a part of Connecting Pieces with you.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And I definitely want to go on to Kay. I know she's over there sizzling, putting some lime in there. Kay, how long have you been cooking?
I have been cooking since I was 9 years old.
So this has been today has been a dream come true.
At 9 years old.
Right.
I learned how to cook from my grandmother. Actually, she taught me, just receta casera, which just really means like home cooking. Just traditional recipes that we would normally, Caribbean recipes that we would normally eat daily or weekly, whatever.
Right.
I was cooking for the household by 9 years old.
Yes.
So I had to get the critiques from my family members, like that rice was hard or that chicken was overcooked or whatever. So
which will they be? They will be your best teachers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I knew how to make my cooking better even from that young age. And then as a teenager, as a young adult, I just kind of explored and adventured with other cooking styles, with other ingredients, different vegetables or fruits that I've never heard of that I would incorporate into my meals, or dishes that I would never take on, but I did because I loved that food. Like, I love Southeast Asian food.
I hear ya.
And I learned kind of how to maneuver in that cuisine.
what you feed your community with.
Yes.
And you use Mill City Grows.
Yeah, so some of the produce that we're using today was actually farm grown, organic urban farming techniques, so there's no pesticides or things like that. Nothing's getting sprayed. Some of the produce that we have here was actually grown on the farm that I just brought with me so that we can incorporate it in the soup, which is super exciting. This is something called green garlic. It's just a premature garlic bulb that you pull out the ground.
Which is, I can say, looking at it in person is amazing. Look like sturdy,
it's so tasty.
Strong.
It's so tasty.
I believe
There's a lot of fiber in here.
Right.
And a lot of these herbs are antifungal, antibacterial. A lot of this stuff is very medicinal that we're cooking up in the pot.
Right, and what you just added to the pot, I saw Yesenia putting some things in. You were squeezing up the limes. So keep the audience updated. What else is cooking up in there?
Of course, yeah. So I'm just adding some lime juice. There's a lot of starchy root vegetables that are incorporated in this soup. So the lime kind of cuts through that starchiness. The acidity in the lime cuts through that starchiness. Also adds to the flavor as well. Basically, the components of this soup is your basic root vegetables like potatoes and carrots, but it's also some Caribbean root vegetables like yuca and malanga, which are just these giant roots that grow under the ground, and you peel them, boil them down, and they become like potato-like vegetables. They're very delicious, very versatile. You can make anything with them. And then we also are including some plantains, some green plantains in this as well.
So going back to Keyla, you just heard Kay talk about how there's non-GMO, no pesticides. How do you feel about that?
I'm ecstatic. I'm like, I don't want any of it. I'm with it. Let's go.
Personally, I can relate to that. I'm also in a healthy lifestyle myself.
Beautiful.
I believe everyone should, get into fruits and vegetables. My mom got me into it since I was little. So think about it. When you are a diabetic, for one stance, you don't get diabetes from fruits or vegetables. Okay? Diabetes are from non-processed foods, and it gets into your insulin and your glucose system, and that's how it is able to generate as a quote-unquote disease. Correct?
Yeah.
So think about it. You have a healthy lifestyle, you can reverse these diseases.
Truly. Food is medicine. I'm all about that. I like to say that I specialize in making meals that is gut friendly. Especially though this was up my alley when you asked me to develop this recipe. Your gut is directly connected to your brain by the vagus nerve, and so your dietary health reflects your mental health, literally directly.
What did Yesenia just put in there? Some scallions?
Yes, she put some beautiful scallions in there.
And how long has it been cooking so far?
I would say if you can let this simmer saute for about 20 minutes, let it all get sweat out and translucent, get all the flavors extracted from it. And then once you see the celery start to get like translucent or soft, then you would want to move forward and add all your root vegetables in there. So today, instead of the proteins, we are adding things like lentils and garbanzo beans. Normally the sancocho would have like a thick broth that is that comes from the bones that you would normally have in it, but today we're going to be adding some nutritional yeast to make it like that thick, nice consistency. That's the word.
Right.
Can I ask you something as a student?
Yeah, of course.
So I love that you're allowing me to learn this recipe, just because I feel like I should know this already, but it's good to learn something new,
Yeah.
So as a teacher, what are some tips you give to a student learning this dish? What are some pointers, or what is something I can take and say, oh, that's a great idea?
I would say the broth. I think the most important part of a soup is the broth, and learning, like from my experience, cooking this, calabaza or pumpkin squash is the thickening agent that changes the whole consistency of the soup. It provides a punch of flavor in the soup as well. So I think just learning and understanding how each ingredient plays a role in the final result of the flavor in the soup.
You're an awesome teacher, by the way.
I appreciate that. I'm trying.
So what's next for us?
So I'm gonna give you a little tutorial on how to cut this green garlic real quick. So basically we're gonna use the entire stalk. We don't want to waste anything here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chop off the roots, and then I'm gonna slice it down the middle as so, as best I can. And if you look at the bottom, you can see the garlic cloves starting to form. I don't know if the camera can catch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just super interesting to me as a farmer. And then if you want, go ahead and just start cutting it into like thin little slices. Like the difference between cured garlic, mature garlic, and green garlic is that the green garlic is a little more fibrous, so it takes a longer time to break down. But the flavor is equally as amazing as cured, matured garlic.
Well, thank you for the tip.
Yeah, of course.
Especially as I'm not a farmer, but as a chef, it's good to know what products I'm using and where they come from and how they grow.
Yeah, food sovereignty is something that I'm very passionate about. Sovereignty just means power, essentially. It means governance. And food sovereignty just means knowing where your food is coming from, who is growing it, and are they eating it too? Because that's the thing with these big corporations, they're pumping food to the community that they wouldn't even feed their own children. So food sovereignty is, I'm growing this food, you are buying this food from me, knowing that I grew it and I'm eating this food as well. It's important. People don't really think about these things, but it's very important.
And we got to mention, I mean, I got excited personally to know that I do know you personally, Kay.
Yeah.
But to know like the inside and outs of no pesticides, no GMO, no like other toxins going into the food, right? Quote unquote vegetables. And we got to mention, Mill City Grows is outside of Lowell. But is there any other locations that they are located?
So Mill City Grows prides itself on being community based. So there's only one Mill City Grows, and it's not a company, it's a nonprofit. So it's very local with Lowell. It's very specific to Lowell, caters to Lowell. But I have dreams and aspirations to see programs and organizations that model Mill City Grows in other places like Lawrence and other places like Lynn, you know, surrounding cities or places that are closest, that are inner cities. They are very they're cities, you know, there's no farmland, it's not rural, but spreading that education and that information that it is possible to grow your own food even though there's no trees in your neighborhood.
Right.
You know,
I hear you.
I think that's what blew my mind the most when I started farming, was that I can do this in a city. Like, there's so many unconventional ways that you can grow your own food, like in grow bags or raised garden beds, things like that, where you can have a great harvest from it that somebody who has 2 acres on a farm would, you know.
Right.
And you still are living in the city, you know. You just don't have to go to Kroger's or
Aldi's.
Star Market or whatever. Aldi's,
Aldi's.
You can get
Kayla, how do you feel about that? How do you feel knowing that these vegetables and these people that are actually providing this is outside your backyard?
I think it's amazing how our communities come together. I think it's amazing to hear. I don't think enough people know about it.
Right.
So I think it's really good that we're touching on it. And I think it's a good reminder to remind people to use like local grown, or there are community gardens, I'm sure, everywhere maybe. And if not,
farmers
and-
markets,
Yes.
local, bodegas, quote unquote, corner stores.
Support your locals.
I know a lot of country people, so even out in like the suburbs, you see a lot of people that do grow their own vegetables and fruits. So we got to think about, we don't want to go through the pandemic again, so we got to think innovatively. We got to think about the future. So
truly.
keep supporting your local businesses, keep
thank you.
supporting the people that you see that's outside of your backyard, and inspire you to get into the garden. I can't lie,
Get
I'm
your
getting in the
hands
garden
dirty.
myself. I just showed Carolyn Kay that I'm growing a garden too, so I'm excited.
And on my end, I think it's just it's inspiring to see my friends, like young people of color, wanting to reconnect with the soil. I think that there's a lot of trauma in and around that, especially in the U.S. On being a farmer and doing farm labor. So let me actually update you with what we just threw in the pot.
You got it.
So we just tossed in some lentils, some potatoes. What else we got in here? Some garbanzo beans, some squash, some of that kabocha, and you can use any winter squash, but kabocha is just what I prefer. Keep in mind, I have not added any water yet, so we are just cooking all of these things down, and this kind of lets them immerse in the flavor. And then I'm going to be adding all of the seasonings and spices and things like that. This is the greens from the spring onion, right here. So this is the spring onion. You pull it out prematurely. It has a green stalk. It looks like a scallion, and you just chop it up, put it right in here, and it's amazing flavor. It's just good to use everything.
Now what about this sofrito that we brought today?
Yes, so we have a sponsored product, which we will be including in this sofrito, which is a key ingredient in this sofrito. We have Clara's Gourmet Sofrito. Not only do we have the wet sofrito, but we have this product, which I think is gonna be flying off the shelves, this dehydrated sofrito. This and this are the same thing, except this has no water in it. So it's really cool to see the significance, the difference, I should say. This you can use as any typical all-purpose seasoning. It's so delicious. It's so, like, honestly, and I'm not even saying this because I really like this product, but I'm saying this because I've never tried a seasoning that tastes like this, truly. And this is going in the sofrito as well. We'll put, I think the recipe calls for a teaspoon or tablespoon, so I'm just gonna eyeball it real quick. Bow.
Yeah, and in our household, eyeballing is one of the things that has always been like a tradition. They're like, I say, sigue echando hasta que te gritan. Keep putting until they scream, meaning like my mom or hear my grandma, just stop, okay, enough. So with this sofrito, I've used it to make the soup prior when I was learning how to make it, and it was like the best. Like I was like, whoa,
so
this is like good. Like I want to eat it, but chill. Like don't eat it, but put it in your food and like just try it.
And we gotta remember, Victoria also used it in her food.
Yes.
So we definitely are utilizing this sofrito.
It's so versatile. It's made with olive oil, kosher salt, and a 8-spice blend. I believe he is trying to reformulate it and use he doesn't want to use seed oils. But it's such an amazing product. There's things like capers and olives in it, which I feel like regular sofrito or more common sofrito, I've never seen people use capers in it. But he's been developing this recipe for about 5 years now, and it's honestly such a great product.
Shout out to Esteban.
Yeah, shout out to Esteban. Esteban. So good. So we've got all of these ingredients in here marrying together. If you want, you can go ahead and add nata seeds, but we've got chicken bouillon, we've got that Dominican oregano. You can get regular oregano, but the Dominican oregano is where it's at. And then we've got chicken bouillon, but you can sub it out for vegetable bouillon if that's what you would like, and then garlic powder.
Yes. I love how you can, mention that you do have the chicken, but you can opt it out for some vegetable.
Yeah. Yep. Everything.
Okay, now I have a question, or just Anya, whoever.
I can mix this for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If there's someone who, let's say, doesn't like garlic or celery or want the lentils, do you think that they can substitute it with a different sort of bean?
Yeah, I mean, so sancocho typically doesn't have beans in it or legumes in it. The protein in it, since we don't have meat, since we're not using meat, I should say, we are subbing it for the lentils and the garbanzo beans. So do you mean like somebody who's a meat eater or a vegetarian?
Vegetarian. I know sort of earlier we had discussed off camera we can make it with meat, but sometimes I know some people don't do well with the lentils because they're so small.
Right.
What about like a black bean or like a pink bean, or
definitely pinto beans? They could use pinto beans. They could use carga monte, I think, which is like this bean that comes from Colombia, and it's just like this red splattered beans. It has like this like speckling on it. Super. Any really legume you can put in the soup. These types of things are very versatile. You can take things out. You can add things in. It really all just caters about it. Like it all matters. The only thing that matters is who you're catering to. I should say.
Yes.
Can we put the water?
Because you want. Yeah. Let's put the nutritional yeast.
And we gotta say, Carolyn did get this inspiration, the sancochos, inspired by you, Keyla. Okay, so she did get the inspiration. She wanted to make sure it was towards you and your specialty, right? So can you speak more about that, Kay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't exactly difficult. These types of things. I was a vegan for 3 years, so a large part of my life was thinking about how I can substitute things because I'm Caribbean and I enjoy Caribbean food, and oftentimes Caribbean food is not vegan.
Right.
So basically just trying to think of how can I keep the flavor the same without the animal products, Exactly. Because a lot of times animal products can be inflammatory to our bodies.
Right.
Especially if we are, consuming them on a regular basis. But I don't even know what my thought process was. I was just thinking I want a nice hearty dense soup, and then I thought a sancocho flavoring to it like that. La calabaza is very important to that, but then without the meat, and then how can I get this meat flavor? And I thought oregano, and I thought nutritional yeast, and adding a little bit more pumpkin than would normally be in there. And honestly, where my mind was just making it like, how can I make this more nutrition, like nutrient dense? Like I want it to be nutrient dense essentially. I want this to feel fulfilling when you're eating it. I want people to eat it without feeling bad about it or without it affecting their stomachs. Even like I know people who don't have like Crohn's disease or things like that have digestive issues, or experience indigestion, so things that won't cause that while somebody's enjoying the soup.
And hearing that, Keyla, when you're hearing someone making a dish for you, what sparks inside of you?
I'm not standing up because she's cooking. I want to stand up and dance and scream because it's just, there's so many things that I'm restricted to with having Crohn's and just limitations just in eating and textures and so many complications that it's exciting to see traditional food that I'm used to and opening it up to other people as well and showing them our traditions too, but also being able to cater it, making it gut friendly for me and so many.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes. How are you girls feeling? What's going on now? We added the water.
Yes, we added the water. We added cilantro. That's
And the yeast too.
yeah, and the nutritional yeast. And then, so now, usually sancocho is made in the morning. You make it in the morning, and then it just kind of, you let it just
Sit.
roar and boil all day.
Yes.
And then by like 1, 2, 3, 4, dinner time, you know,
Hits.
Pushing it.
yeah, you know, and it's ready to eat. And you can even have it for lunch, you can have it for dinner, you can freeze it, have it for the next day, or you know, however long.
Right.
But we're gonna let that cook for, I would say, at least an hour, just so that all the root vegetables can get real soft and tender.
Is that all the ingredients that we added?
Yeah, so we're just missing the yuca and the green plantains, and everything's in there.
Okay. You got it.
Hey, this looks nice.
Yes. It looks
looks
beautiful.
really,
So
really
many
Nice job,
colors.
teacher.
Yes. Nice job, student.
I think as a student,
did that.
Thank you. It was really cool that when you came up with this recipe after learning what we were doing this for.
Right.
I was like, well, if I'm gonna do something out of my comfort zone, let it be something that I never learned before, right? And to just know that it got tailored for somebody who needed a special diet or just a different type of the same meal but different type of way of making it. I was like, well, give me the challenge. I'm with it. I'm on it. I'm gonna thug this out. I'm gonna go with it and teach me. So that's why I'm more like taking back and just listening to the process versus giving so much of the input, because like I go back to teaching, it's like you gotta listen and receive. Truly. So I think I've learned so much through this journey, and like I'm ready to eat. I don't know about you guys, but I'm
ready to eat.
I'm waiting.
I know we have the yuca to add on. So once we add the yuca, well,
Yeah, everything's all in there. We're good.
let the teacher teach,
Yes, of
right?
course.
Before I step in.
I got too excited, sorry.
No worries.
We're good. And I have to say, you are a great student, and just working side by side with you has been really, really amazing. I will say it's just nice to be able to work with another person of color, another person who has similar life experiences as you, that shares the same passions, and what you're doing with the children. Amazing, so commendable. Pinero's Kitchen is going far.
So it's C's Catering,
Yes.
and connecting pieces, connecting all of us.
Yes,
So
that's the initial reaction. I mean, of course, Victoria definitely started us.
Yes.
But we're going to be talking to her later as well. So all of us being able to sit and marinate with each other. We've been planning this for weeks, okay? And now we're finally in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Victoria's food was amazing. I'm gonna put that up there. I was like, girl, so shout out to Victoria too.
Yes.
I know she'll appreciate that.
Yes, so chef.
We can start plating.
All right.
Yes.
So,
So after we already marinated the components that we already added in the first batch,
Letting it cook down, all that.
right, and then we add the yuca,
And the green plantain.
the green plantain,
Yep.
and then now this is our finished product.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So beautiful.
So one tip that I did learn is when you're going to lift up a lid, make sure you lift it up away from you so the steam can go away from you. Just like Victoria said earlier, a nice facial, but it burns. So I'm gonna let it cool, let the water drip in the pot. Thank you, teacher. And put it to the side, and then you let me know how you want me to serve this part.
You can just go ahead and serve, and we can garnish, and then
Yes, and I
Hand them
definitely
off.
wanted to get up.
I can't wait for you guys to try it.
Yes, thank you so much. So what we have onto Yesenia's right is what we all just made sure to put in the soup, and then this is our finished product. So after marinating the first, now we're on to the second, and that's the final, correct?
Yes.
Got it.
Beautiful. And then
We like to pair this up with an avocado, which we call. Oh, sorry.
Are you ready for this, Kayla?
It smells so good.
This whole place is going to be knocking on this door like, what is going on?
Yes, I can't wait.
And all I can say for chefs, they are very particular when it comes to the final dish. Okay, they got to make sure they clean it, right? We got to make sure you got the great garnishes.
Yeah, talking about that, I have to do that sound like cleaning up my plate. But I actually...
if you want to garnish for Marlena.
Sure. Can I use these? Of course, yeah.
And I have to say, I am such a fan to know that this is vegan.
Yeah.
I am such a fan of this. More so, I'm getting away from meat. And personally, my mom can even advocate for me. She knows, like, why aren't you eating meat? And it's like, I never gravitated towards it. It's the texture for me where I have to chew it more. It doesn't sit well. And like I said, the healthy lifestyle, I just get more energy without the processed meat, you know? And think about it. I'd rather get it from my local market, like my fruits and vegetables from my local market. And then if I can pair it up like a quote unquote, you know, meat sancocho, we can just take the meat away and keep the veggies.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's hot in the bottom. Like
No
we say in the
worries.
kitchen, hot pot, hot plate. So
Eat it up.
be careful.
Ooh, this is so pretty.
Oh my God.
Are you excited?
I don't even know where to start.
Right. We're
And
just
it
gonna.
looks so
My
pretty.
teacher
I don't
here is
even
gonna
wanna
plate
ruin
the
it.
big bowl.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna switch sides.
Yes, we definitely
The action shot
have.
right here.
You know what?
Whenever you're ready.
Right.
What's the verdict? What's the verdict?
Cheers.
What's it saying?
There's a nap coming after this.
Right.
I know it. I already sense
Oh,
it.
girl, perfect for a rainy day.
The gym workout all week just went away.
It tastes
No, it's good.
just
It's
like
healthy for you.
when
It's
you
all
make it.
vegetable.
Right.
It tastes just like if it, like I've always had it when I was a kid, and if nobody has had it before, it's delicious. It's a party in your mouth and your tummy. And
I'd rather have this, honestly.
yes, and I know Victoria had mentioned too. It's like eating food, right? What's healthy technically, or
Right.
not everybody has access to the same vegetables, and they're not all grown in the same areas. So I love that you guys have brought together so many different vegetables, but there's also options that we can substitute with.
Yes.
It's really
Great way to explain that.
Oh, we forgot to also mention, if you want a little more of seasoning, you can always add a little bit of salt and pepper, or other
Actually,
seasonings.
we don't need that. We do not need that here.
Well, I'm really glad you guys enjoyed or are enjoying. I hope the crowd out there can smell from a distance the soup, because this was awesome to learn a traditional dish in a different way, and it was just awesome to learn from such an awesome
I'm
chef.
getting carried away and I'm getting distracted. We gotta leave. Thank you so much, ladies, for your time, for your cooking skills. The beautiful demonstration was all that you can know here. So please stay tuned and you'll see more of this. Thank you. Well, I am learning so many new cooking skills, and today I also have a new upcoming chef, Yesenia.
Hola, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm fabulous.
I know I'm great.
Yes.
And we just finished cooking. So, can you tell me what you learned today?
Well, I learned not to burn the pots, but I did learn that a simple dish like sancocho goes a long way. And that was the first time making it, honestly, and having another chef like Carolyn teach me was so heartwarming, because I learned to just use the basic seasonings from our island to make such a fabulous dish, and it was just amazing. So
And
I
what
learned
island
so
are we
much.
from?
Puerto Rico.
Yes. And can you tell me more about your business?
Yes, so I am the proud chef and co-owner. My mom is the co-owner as well. That's where Pinero's Kitchen came from. We started in 2020 during the pandemic, and we started in her kitchen. So perfect, Pinero's Kitchen.
Yes.
And now we are catering to children and children with disabilities, giving them an awesome 6-week program.
Yes. We'll talk more about
yes,
that.
of course.
So stay tuned for more upcoming information through Fun with Food and Connecting Pieces. Thank you.
Bring it. Oh, he's on fire. you guys later.
Mom wants us home.
Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
This is Marlena Garcia and welcome back to Performer Studios. I do have special guests here and it's been a great day, okay? I have here our fabulous Keyla and our fabulous Victoria, right? How was today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful?
Yes.
I know I had a great soup. Victoria was chefing it up. Me and Keyla was here trying all the tasty foods that we were trying from you and my bad, Carolyn,
Yes.
right, and Yesenia. So I wanted to update the audience on the specific questions because I know earlier we definitely had a, intro, but I wanted to get more in depth and deeper.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna start with Keyla, right?
Yeah.
Keyla. So what do you see Connecting Pieces doing more of?
I see them doing so many things, and I could say we, because we are a team. So I see us doing so much work and collaborations. That's why it's called Connecting Pieces, because I feel that collaborations is a big thing. And so it's kind of the reason why I started it. And I think it will help us achieve our initiatives and projects better and reach more people that way and amplify our voices. So I think the ultimate goal for us is international, just globally helping people in our community that are impacted by gastrointestinal disorders, that are impacted by ostomy bags and colorectal cancer, that are needing these medical devices, that are in need of finding their voice, raising awareness, just on so many levels.
Right. And I wanted to shout out her flyer that she has here, and it does say Connecting Pieces, Gather, Uplift, Trust. And I wanted to read more in depth. Connecting Pieces, a 501 nonprofit organization committed to being a beacon of support and resources for individuals and families affected by gastrointestinal disorders, ostomy. Thank you for saying that.
It's okay.
And related challenges. We empower lives through education, support, and you're gonna have to say that.
Advocacy.
Actively working to bridge health disparities by accepting donation of ostomy supplies to ensure accessibility for those in need. Join us on our mission to inspire hope and create positive change. Even reading that gives me chills, okay? Because that sends a great impactful message for people that want to understand what Connecting Pieces even means. See, if I was an outsider and I saw the word Connecting Pieces, that would intrigue me. Okay, like why Connecting Pieces? And before we even get more into depth with Connecting Pieces, I wanted to talk about your journey as being a model, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. I don't even know where to start.
Wherever you like.
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Keyla. I'm 39 years old. I am a print and runway model. I am a disabled inclusive model. So I do try to use the platform to raise awareness and amplify voices for those who don't. I do pageantry. I am the founder of Connecting Pieces. And so through modeling, how did I get into it? I got my ostomy bag. And for those of you who don't know what an ostomy is, it's a medical device that is placed on the outside of your abdomen to collect your stool. And sometimes people get them for stool or urine, so you can have either one or both. Some people have two. And so I had mine 4 years ago due to Crohn's disease. I've had Crohn's for 11 years, and basically I failed every medication that was available to me, and the only other option that I had was to get this ostomy bag permanently. They removed my large intestine, and that was it. And once you get your large intestine removed, there's no coming back from that. It doesn't grow back, but you can live with just your small intestine like I am. And so it's funny because my son laughs at me. He says I'm bionic. But through that, I met someone online who has the similar condition. I thought I was being catfished, to be honest. And so it's this woman who has the same disease, and she tells me she's a Vogue photographer and she wants to help me, and we just want to become friends. And I end up telling her I want to become a model, and I did this photo shoot kind of just for me for body positivity and self-love.
Some encouragement. Right?
Yes, especially after having my bag, it definitely messed with my mental health a lot and my self-image. And so I did this photo shoot. I showed her the photos. She took them and she was like, "Can I do whatever with them?" I said, "Absolutely." And they got published in a magazine in New York. And after that, she was like, "If this is what you want to do, this is what I used to do. I used to train models." And so she kind of took me under her wing and taught me everything I know.
That is a beautiful story, Keyla. Even coming from the bottom up, like, come on now. And now you're changing lives. And now you're doing what she did with you.
Right.
Putting people in positions to win.
Yes.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
And I wanted to also mention your upcoming fashion show.
Yes. So last year, before we became a nonprofit, I had put on a fashion show charity event to help fund research for Crohn's and colitis, and it was very successful. I'm really thankful for all the help and how it all went. And so after that, I felt like I could do anything. And that is where Connecting Pieces sort of came from as well. After that fashion show, I decided, why not start a nonprofit if I'm already volunteering and working in the space? And so we will be having a fashion show charity event in September of this year, and it'll be to help fund our projects and initiatives.
See, you gotta, this has to touch your heart in some way, in one way possible. I know that did for me. And since we are talking about the Crohn's and colitis, right? Colitis. Yep. Thank you for correcting me.
It's okay.
How was the walk through the foundation? Because I know you just did the walk and you invited all of us. So I apologize that I wasn't able to be there.
That's okay.
But I was cheering it on. Okay. And I want to know more. What was going on? How was that day? Because I know that you posted a doctor or some of the few doctors that did show up. Mm-hmm. So can you touch base on that?
Yes. So I volunteer with one of the biggest organizations that supports Crohn's and colitis patients, and they decided to honor me this year, and I was the honored adult hero.
Congratulations.
And thank you. It's a blessing, and I think it's an honor as well. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and so I've been able to connect with pharmaceutical companies. They had a big walk last weekend. I believe they raised about $250,000.
Wow.
And
round of applause for that.
Yes, because it brings us closer to finding a cure, because there is no cure for this disease. And through there, my GI doctor had gone with his dog. I saw him. I said a speech. My entire family showed up. It was amazing. If you were there, you would have seen me. I was wearing a long necklace, and it basically had all of my hospital bracelets from the last 4 years.
Yes.
And so a lot of patients felt a lot of power from that. They felt they could relate on so many levels.
Right.
And so it was just amazing to be in a space with people who understand and get it, but also were spoiling me just like you guys spoiled me.
That was our job, and I'm glad we accomplished that. Thank you for mentioning that. And since I have my notes, that's why I keep looking down, if anybody was wondering. But for the goals, what do you see Connecting Pieces accomplishing this year?
This year, I want us to be 100% up and running fully with our ostomy supply project, and that's accepting donations, having a good supply coming in for donations, but also a good supply going out to patients.
Right.
We are supplying these devices to patients within the US and internationally. I've been supplying patients in the UK, in Palestine, in Egypt. We're going to send a shipment real soon to Lebanon. I believe Dominican Republic I sent some to. So a lot of these countries where it's very hard to get access to these supplies, but also I see the gap in the US as well.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that we can have some sort of flow this year with that.
Right.
And also have our cooking initiative, and we are working on a virtual art expression class as well.
Wow. Did you hear what she just said? She's also helping so many countries, and she didn't list like 1 or 2. She listed like 5 or 6. So this girl is definitely out there supplying for people that need this. So this is serious, okay? It's serious to me, and I hope it's serious to you. And now that we're mentioning the cooking classes, what came to mind? Like, what was the inspiration when it came to talking about a cooking class, right?
It was just my own personal experience. Just having to go to events, to parties, to just people's houses.
Right.
And me not being able to eat certain things at their house, or having to pick certain things out of my food. And people would kind of wonder like, oh, are you allergic to that? Or are you just not like...
So many questions, right?
So I think I wanted also for patients to be able to have access to good cooking, good meals, cost effective, easy to make, but you can also substitute in any way, and it be accommodating to you in whatever restriction or whatever diet you choose to follow.
Do you think that's what happened today?
Absolutely.
We hit charts with that.
Yes.
And going on to Connecting Pieces, because this is why we're here today with Fun with Food in the Performer Studios, and we have all of these lovely organizations here, nonprofit by the way. And is Connecting Pieces, so you did mention that Connecting Pieces doesn't have a cure, like no one found a cure. And if so, are they seeking further investments through other organizations for this cure?
Yes. So I am actively a board member and patient advocate on a research company, and they're actually the ones that I helped raise the funds for last year. And so we are going to partner and team up with them. They're the first to study basically what our bodies are doing during a flare. No one has ever studied that before. The data that they have collected and are collecting is just more information that's going to hopefully pave a path for us to find a cure in the future.
And who is the one studying the flare? Who is that?
The company, they're called IMYOO. It's IMYOO, and they're a very small sort of grassroots company, and I love that they're small and they're not big, and there's not all of these politics or anything else behind it. They're just very patient oriented, want to help, they want the patients engaged. A lot of people don't know that when you're part of a study,
right,
you actually never get that information back.
Absolutely not.
You you don't hear anything about the results. You don't know what your results were. And a big part of their research is getting the patients in there. They call them patient scientists, actually, and just interacting and letting us know what's going on along the way. And we will also see our results at the end.
Okay, so they did a spin here.
Yes.
They started showing results. I think that is key, especially when you understand when you go into something and you don't know what's going on. I would want to know, right? Personally,
Right.
what is my body doing and how can I mentally process and be patient with my body, also getting all of these chemicals, medications, you know, the machines that I can, you know, the pain. Like, that's where my mind goes to, like the pain and the endurance. While you're going to bed, you're like, I don't know if this is gonna, you know, if there is going to be a cure. So that's why I had to mention, because, you know, not a lot of people understand what it means to invest, but when you invest in something like this, you're also investing in yourself. And also for the people that are watching, you know how you see those commercials like invest in this. Like, I saw one yesterday about a dog, and don't get me wrong, I have dogs myself, but when it comes to people, I think we have to really, you know, it doesn't even matter. Right. People are people, pets are pets. You know, I'm a dog person, so I couldn't even compare to that. However, I'm in love with my community already. And when you also came to me with this story, you wanted me to be a coordinator for the fashion show. And I already told you, we talked about this many times, but I'm like, no, God wanted more to come out of this. And that's exactly what we did today. So thank you so much for touching base on all the questions that I asked you and for your patience. It's been amazing. I definitely wanted to shout out Victoria that I have right next to you. And hi, Fabo.
Hi, Dia.
How are you doing?
Thank you for sharing your story. I had chills. I have chills.
Right.
And
thank you.
Thank you. And from that, wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, I think this whole room, I mean, has to understand that it wasn't self-righteous for any of us. It was righteous, and it was bigger. So in a spiritual journey where I'm at, like, that's why it was so dynamic for all of these people to come together, because it's so many different backgrounds. Like, why not? And this is what community is about. We don't ever get anywhere by ourselves, right? So Victoria, since we're talking about you, and I wanted to touch base on why you got into cooking. What made you get into cooking?
I'm hungry. Often. And, well, thankfully, my parents, they had their own restaurant. So I grew up at the age of 5 years old until 10 years old, an Italian restaurant.
What's the name?
Vittorio's Pizza Restaurant.
Vittorio Pizza.
Yes. So, yes, I'm named after my dad.
Yes.
Third girl. That's what he got. So anyways, I grew up there cutting parsley and making things, bussing tables at the register and just having fun. And so I grew up with that. And, you know, my mom cooking sauce on Sunday and just really enjoying being with my mom and my sisters and hanging out. And I said, okay, let's go to school and do it. So, and thankfully I've enjoyed and learned a lot.
Yes, it grew on you.
Yes.
And not for nothing, I love that you mentioned that you were in the restaurant business, because I believe that's how you get the best customer service.
Oh,
right?
Oh, yes.
You're dealing with like possibly like 100 things at the same time, and then you got to make sure that everyone's on the green line of happy.
Yes.
Because you get that one bad review, everyone's like, what is going on, right?
That's
so I'm
true.
glad that you mentioned that.
Yep.
And not only that you cook, you're also a model.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We need to talk about that journey.
Yes, thankfully that's how I met you, Marlena, is
Right.
modeling. And, you know, we all ebb and flow with our weight throughout our lives.
Right.
And during the pandemic, for me, that's when I gained the most. And I said, okay, get your act together, hit yoga, do all that, eat well again. And I decided to do Miss Mass. You do pageantry too. I thought that was so cool. So I did Miss Mass USA 2022. And yeah, and just started modeling. And it's always been a dream of mine, like Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. I faithfully watched and practiced.
I can relate, right?
Seriously.
And that's where we have the alignment here, because I also met Keyla through modeling,
Right.
And then so just us sitting in this table, like it's been like what, 5 years
Yeah.
that we've been knowing each other,
Yeah.
and then I just met Victoria, sorry,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Can you believe that's like to the point where I thought like bringing all of us together? I mean, y'all was cheering at me on the background, but I'm too humble, okay? I'm very humble.
She coordinates everything.
Yes.
She's the cheerleader. She
Yes.
emceed with me a couple weeks ago at a fashion show. Like, no. And she she anchored me. She helped focus. She was like, all right, we have a plan. Let's do it.
Yes,
So
and
thank
you
you.
know what? I think all of us are like that. We are all like empowerment, women driven, and I think that was the liking. So when I even paired everyone together, I was like, it needs to be glue. There had to be a stick here. So as far as your modeling career, can we discuss what your experience and inspirations through cooking?
Yes. So growing up, I've always watched, Food Network. And nowadays, I just feel like people don't have time to cook.
Right.
I know for myself. And for me, I just wanted to teach people that they can cook, live their lives, and like do extra fun things that we like to do. Right. So teaching people things take a long time. That beautiful dish that they made, the soup earlier, that's like an all-day affair. Right. So it's just like it takes time, but the food's good, and you need to showcase that.
Exactly. I agree. And when it comes to, seeing yourself going to, events, through the modeling,
Yes.
Working in the restaurant with your family, and then also having your own cooking show.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Yes. Finally getting the confidence to go ahead and do it. So Fabulous Foods with Victoria Fabo came because I was like, I want to teach people how to cook. I got taught, thankfully, by so many mentors.
Right.
And I gather them up like Legos. And
We're a sponge.
The more the merrier. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, Damos Boutique, who I'm wearing,
Yes.
Fabulous Foods with Victoria Fabo.
Thank you for reminding me. We have to shout out Marissa and Adelicia, because
Yes.
when we did do that MC,
Yes.
like they're community based, they love thinking about the community, and that's what I'm about. I think that's so important, to think about the people that are in front of you, not far away from you. So they utilize the people that were outside of their backyard, and when they touch base with you and they saw that you were cooking, you're best friends with Adelicia, right?
Yeah.
So what are the odds now now they're making you gear for your cooking show?
Yes. Well, I actually met them because for the pageant, I never had a custom-made gown.
Right.
And I just was talking to some coworkers at the long-term care facility I was at, and they're like, oh, Marissa and Gina are around the corner. Literally around the corner from the facility. I walked in, I just wanted a gown.
Right.
And she was like, do you want to be in a fashion show? And I'm like, yes, please. When?
Ate that right up. Yes, I hear you.
So thank God for them. Going down those stairs at their place to see their gowns, and it was purple and purple. Crohn's, my love, and royalty. Purple. So anyways, Damos.
And so touching base with, your cooking shows and all the types of cooking in general and your inspirations, I definitely wanted to touch base on future events that you see
Yes.
yourself cooking.
Yeah, so for me, like my show for me is to learn by other people. Like we need nonos, abuelas, vovos to come and like teach us how to cook, because we just kind of get lost in it. So for me, more future events would be having nonos, memes coming on the show and teaching me how to cook, because I don't want that lost.
Right.
Right? Like culture can be lost in different ways, and food is culture and culture is food.
Yes.
So I really want to hone in on that. Of course, my dream as well is to be international and showcase it.
Yes.
Damos gratefully brought me to Cape Verde, and I got to see how life is and how food is, and people need to see that and the love that goes into all that food.
Well, I believe that today, and talking about international, hopefully this is able to be broadcasted globally, internationally. So since we have time we are going to come back and going to meet our other guests. Stay tuned. Connecting Pieces is dedicated to serving as a beacon of support and resources for individuals and families impacted by gastrointestinal disorders, ostomies, and associated challenges. Their mission extends beyond providing education and support. They actively address health disparities by accepting donations of ostomy supplies, ensuring accessibility for those facing barriers. Additionally, they are committed to hosting retreats tailored for families affected by GI conditions, offering a sanctuary for support and access to vital resources. At Connecting Pieces, they prioritize mental health and holistic well-being, striving to empower every individual to navigate their journey with resilience and hope. To learn more, please visit their website at www.connectingpcs.org. Okay, I have to say it was such a productive day where we got a lot done. We have amazing people in the house, and I can tell you this is the last of it, okay? So I wanted to shift over to our friendly neighbor, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi, Carolyn. How are you doing?
I'm good. Today has been so eventful,
right?
And so amazing, and I would say productive, inspiring. Just to be able to connect with everybody, to be able to taste all this amazing food and hear people's stories, where what inspires people, what keeps people ticking. It's just been amazing to actually, make these connections in person.
Yes, I agree. And not for nothing, I have a set of questions for you.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready.
girl.
I stay ready, so you just gotta get ready.
I think that's why we coincide.
Oh yes.
We got that. Okay. So we have our business, Seeds Catering, right?
Yes.
Where did that come from?
So that started in 2020 during the pandemic. I've always had a really good understanding of food. I've always understood food well in the kitchen when it comes to putting flavors and textures together. But I basically started making plates, selling plates out of my apartment that was in a dorm room, which is funny.
Right.
But people really enjoyed it. People, a lot of restaurants were not active at those times.
Exactly.
Not open at those
Only
times.
essential
Right.
restaurants.
Yeah, places were open. So I was putting up flyers. I would make these like makeshift flyers and put them up around the dorms and just be like, come to this room, you can buy a plate. And people were loving it. They were like, what? You made this? This tastes like somebody's grandmother made it.
Right. I believe you.
And that was what inspired the catering. I would have people, inquire about baby showers or like small family parties, or even I've done a few, because I offer private chef services as well. I've done like a few date nights where I would just be there cooking, and there's a beautiful couple, and I'm just setting the ambiance for them.
I may have to keep you in the future in my mind.
Oh yeah. Hit my line.
Yes.
So it kind of started there, and then it kind of branched out into farm to table catering, where I was getting deeper into my farming experience. I was learning more, and then I learned how to take what I was growing, what I was harvesting, and including those types of ingredients into the food that I was making. And I learned about how medicinal these vegetables and fruits were that I was in contact with, and how to put those together to make a good meal, but also medicine. Like, people don't even know that what they're eating is healing them.
Exactly. And that's the recipe development. The recipe development. Yes.
The food is go ahead.
Yes. When it comes to the farming, and while you're farming, you're also incorporating your Seeds Catering through Mill City Grows, and then while you're going through Mill City Grows, you're also doing the recipe development, which is food is medicine.
Food is medicine, exactly. So for those who don't know, Mill City Grows is a nonprofit based out in Lowell, Massachusetts. It's an amazing nonprofit that specializes on food sovereignty and food access, and educates on food inequality, things like that.
Yes.
They run so many different helpful programs like community gardens and community growing, transferring community growers into market growers, and providing the education and the tools around that. And they do amazing things, and to be able to be employed by them and to work for them is just so such an honor. I really enjoy what I do. I learned so much working for them.
I have seen a shift in you.
Yeah.
Okay, personally, I have seen a shift. She smiles more.
Oh, yes.
Her energy is so uplifting because you're also around great people. Yeah. And I wanted to touch base on your community and how you also are a spiritual group leader.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you're a spiritual group leader, how has that brought positivity to you and others?
To me and others, I would say I try to radiate positivity. I try to be exemplary in my community, and how as many adversities as we face doesn't mean that we should be reflecting what our experiences are, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So being able to emit and to, to metabolize the experiences that you go through, and be able to admit it and express,
acknowledging,
or I would say influence something beautiful out of something ugly.
So much more better. Yes.
You know what I mean? So
which you're also a role model. So being a spiritual group leader, you're a role model to your community, so people are looking 100%. Up to you, right? And then while you're a spiritual group leader, you also minister your food. You prophesy over your food.
I pray over the food a lot,
right?
Even as I'm harvesting, or if I'm washing up, because wash up is a different part of farming, where after you harvest you have to clean everything you just harvest,
right?
So while I'm doing things like that, I'm like just praying over it, and just putting love energy into it as I'm packaging it or as I'm spraying it down. And it's not a clean job. I'm not looking cute while I'm doing this.
You got the farm hat,
dirty,
and the farm boots
sweaty,
going on.
But my energy is still like, whoever is eating and consuming these products, I just pray that it heals them from the inside out.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Yes. And then for your Seeds Catering business, because since everything that I just said ties in what you're doing and how it manifested today, to like talk to your community and also mention like all the great things that you're doing as an individual, what exciting events do you see yourself doing through Seeds Catering?
I think that not even the sky is the limit. I think that I couldn't even have imagined an opportunity like this, you know? So when you are in tune with the divine and you are aligned with what your purpose is, and the trajectory that your life is supposed to take, there's no limits to what you can do. Sometimes, you know, like you can call it manifesting, but how can you manifest it if you could not have imagined it?
Exactly.
So when these things are gifted to you by the Creator, you know, there's no way to
explain that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, you can't even explain that because so many people, spiritually speaking, you know, it comes from that's not even you. Okay, we're humans functioning like we're souls functioning in a human body.
Exactly.
So even talking about that, people wouldn't even get that until they understand themselves in a deeper level. Right? So even with farming, right? Does the farm have any plans for the community?
Yeah, so that was the whole question. I didn't even answer it.
That's okay.
But basically I see, just to get back to that question, I see Seeds Catering collaborating. I think collaboration is just so important.
Which we did today.
Today was a major collaboration, and shout out to Keyla. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm excited to continue this endeavor with you and to grow with you in this space. I see so many events, collaborations. As for the farming, I have relationships with other urban agriculture nonprofits based out in Lancaster, and they contract me basically to be a coordinator with immigrant farmers and farmers that come from other countries that grow culturally appropriate crops here in Drakewood or in Lowell or in the Massachusetts area. So basically where I see that growing in the community is getting these farmers from small scale farming, growing for their communities, for their churches, for their families, and getting them into market farming, where there's certain USDA regulations that they have to, meet.
Yes.
Getting them with the equipment, with the education, with the knowledge to be able to market themselves
and continue
basically make themselves a brand and make themselves a business.
Right.
So that's how I want to deepen my roots in the community
and you sure are deepening your roots when you're on that land, girlfriend. Thank you so much for your service. I mean, so many people are probably going to be like, damn, how can I get into this? Okay, so I definitely want to be able to through Connecting Pieces, we're going to be broadcasting that on there, and you'll be learning more information through each of these individuals on there. So since we have someone else in the room, last but not least, Yesenia, where did Panero's Kitchen come from?
Well, first I want to say hola, and I just want to say thank you to Keyla for having me here. This was such an amazing opportunity. Thank you to Kay for teaching me such an awesome dish, and wow, just thank you and thank God for sure. But Panero's, that's a great question, because Panero started in 2020 during the COVID pandemic, and both me and my mom were laid off. For those who don't know, I own this business with my mom, and I was like, well, I need a cool name. Like, we were selling 100 pastelillos a day, also known as empanadas in other countries. And I'm like, wow, this is blooming. Like, what's up with it? Like,
Right.
and I said, well, I need to come up with a name. And my mom was like, what is it? And I said, Mom, this is your kitchen. Panero's Kitchen. That's her last name. So it just started off of making 100 pastelillos, and I got Panero's Kitchen because, one, my mom is my backbone. Two, it's her kitchen. And three, it was just a perfect name to just name it. It was just so awesome, so beautiful.
Right, and not for nothing, that gives me inspiration to I don't have kids yet, but I want to definitely make sure that I'm in the kitchen with them we can learn off each other. Because at the end of the day, you also, when you're a parent, you're also, your child is the teacher. You are the student. So it's always going to be that back and forth with your child and also being a parent. So I definitely am excited to be a parent one day. But going back to Panero's Kitchen, right? You're also a culinary arts teacher for the kids.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, I mean, definitely this experience has humbled me because I'm so used to being the teacher. However, when I started culinary school in October, last October, I was like, there's more to me. There's purpose. God put something in my life versus we wanted to open a cafe, a food truck. Right. And I'm like, there's purpose, there's purpose, and there's power. And I started talking to my culinary teachers, and I was like, listen, like, there's more to this, and I want to do what you're doing. So as I graduated culinary school, I was like, you know what? Let me just give back and teach. So I got my first teaching contract with a school I used to work for. It's a school for students with autism. So the principal was really cool with me, and she gave me the opportunity.
Can we shout her out? What's her name?
Yeah, Kristen Pass from the SCS Annex. Thank you.
Yes, we got to make sure we know. Yes. We got to give credit to the ones that gave us that opportunity.
And she, without even hesitating, she was like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, cool. And I was still new to this, and I loved it. And somehow, some way, I just heard God saying, there's more to this, you can teach. And I had 10 years of teaching in my belt, and I was like, why not, take it? And then 4 years of culinary with my degree.
Exactly.
So I said, God, I'm gonna listen to you and be faithful, even if it's hard to, Lord. But I ran with it. I sat Mom down and I said, sister. That's how I talk to her. I'm like, sis, we need to change the game. We got to change the game, and that's gonna make me different. It's gonna make us different.
Right.
If we're gonna do anything, Pinero's gonna leave a mark. It's gonna be through our food and through teaching, and that's where this whole concept came, and we've been doing it since October 2023. So here
I
we
hear
are.
the passion, I hear your drive, I hear your determination, and I also wanted to touch base. Do you see Pinero's Kitchen expanding?
Oh man, Pinero's. Man, one day I hope to have an after-school program for students that don't have the proper resources to food. Because for me, food is more than just a meal. It brings people together. It shows that you can do anything you put your mind to because it's art. It's
Right.
When I'm making something, a plate, when I'm showing these kids how to make arroz con gandule, yellow rice with pigeon peas, I'm showing them that you're putting these ingredients, you're putting your ingredients, and you're decorating your plate.
Right.
And Pinero's is definitely gonna be something great. I really can't say, because if God was down here, yeah, I'd be like, Lord, what is it you have for me? But
you do have something in the works,
Yes.
which is involving with the fundraiser.
yes,
Can you
yes,
mention that?
Yes. So PK, I love to say PK because it reminds me of like PK, you know,
Right.
like the hot sauce, you know. So it's really exciting. Right now, we're raising funds to offer at least 10 kids a free week-long program. None of these kids or parents have to pay for a 10-hour week. So Monday through Friday, they'll be with me 2 hours. They get the aprons. They use the mixer, the cutting boards, like everything that you can imagine. We're doing that with the kids. And right now, we're so grateful that we got to at least give almost 6 kids the opportunity. We're almost there. Our mark is to at least raise like 2,000 to give, 5,000 to give 10 kids opportunity, and we're almost there. We're at least giving 6 kids opportunity, and we're just asking people to, if they want to spread light, to share our mission, to if they want to donate or donate aprons and mixing bowls and whatever, because kids need this, no matter who they are, their background, their beliefs or disabilities, because every disability is a super ability, and I tell all of my kids that. And
that should be a quote. That should be stamped somewhere and put on flyers. Okay. Thank you so much for those inspiration.
welcome.
And I definitely want to touch base on you ministering and being a spiritual leader.
Yes. So I am a youth leader. I am a worship leader, and so actually my team, my mom and our program coordinator Cheryl, we all go to the same congregation.
Yes. Instead of saying mom, what is mom's name?
Christina Pinheiro.
Yes. Yes.
Woo, Mama P in the building. For those who know Mama P, shout out. But I just give thanks to God. I just can't express that. If it wasn't for God, I don't even know where I would be.
Right.
Through my testimony, through what God has done with me, through my voice, through ministering this is my ministry. Pinero's Kitchen is a ministry.
Right.
And food connects people with, Keyla, going back to Keyla, connecting pieces. I connect people's lives together, and I just can't express that. Literally, I'm here because God put me in this place, and I just get super woo when it comes to the Lord, but it's that is my whole identity. And if you're going to rock with PK, you gotta rock that the Lord is in front, behind, side by side, coming and going. And if you don't rock with it, then I'm sorry, but we gotta go. But it's who I am, and no one can take that away from me.
You know what? That's how we are here today, and none of this is gonna take away from any of that.
True.
Okay. So even if you're watching, even if you're in this room, you're gonna understand what we are here to do, right? So thank you so much for everyone that stayed tuned. Thank you for everyone that's in the building, even to Michael Zotos for putting us together. Even
Yes.
John, shout out to you, man. You are
Shout
awesome.
out.
And for everyone that's going to be watching, everyone that's going to be staying tuned, there's going to be more plans in the works. So be patient and take care.